Hi, this is Elaine, and I thought I would reintroduce myself because it's been a minute. So, if you're new to Captivate the Crowd and the whole community, welcome. I am a professional speaker, comedian. I've toured 44 states and 6 countries, but more importantly, I have helped thousands of women get over their fear of being on camera and speaking. It can feel really scary, and you can be super successful and confident in other areas of your life. And yet, when it comes to speaking under pressure, it can feel like you're going to die. Ask me how I know. I did stand-up comedy all over the country. I love helping people just like you get over that fear, whatever it is, because even though your ego may be like, I should get over this, I shouldn't feel this, or you're an idiot, or whatever it's telling you, it's real. And you can do all the things about getting your hair and makeup done and getting your colors done and getting fancy equipment. But if you aren't, you got to work on the inside stuff first, the inside, the foundation, to make when you can create safety for yourself and come from your why and your value and your intention to make a difference and to use your story and your content and your knowledge for good. That's so much bigger than any little nuggly cyberbully or whatever. Everyone worries about the bullies out there, but usually the worst bully is the one that's in here. So that's who I am, and that's what I'm about. And welcome if you're new. We're so happy that you're here. I do a free masterclass once a month. I do community stuff every once in a while. And I've always got new, cool, exciting projects coming down the pike. And I love featuring cool people on my podcast, Captivate the Mic. So make sure you click on all the buttons so that we can stay connected. So, in honor of Women's History Month, we're in March. It's also my birthday month. I'm going to be sharing stories from this book, Let Me Be Frank. I love this book. I recommended it to so many people. And it's a book about women who dress like men to do shit they weren't supposed to do. And I freaking love that. So let's dive in. I'm going to tell you the story of Margaret King and Mary Wollstonecraft. So Margaret King was born into a rich family, and all that it was expected of her was to be beautiful and comely and get married and pump out babies because that's what you did. But her parents accidentally hired a governess who was a feminist and a rebel. And the feminist was Mary Wollstonecraft. So it turns out Mary wrote a book later after she was a governess called The Vindication of the Rights of Women. And this was in 1792. Talk about ahead of her time. So when Mary got hired at this castle, she was part of an 80-person staff. Can you imagine 80 people worked for this castle and this family? So what made the parents want to hire Mary? She had written a book called Thoughts on Educating Daughters. So Margaret's parents were really good at having babies. They had 12, but they really didn't want to deal with raising them. So that's why they had such a big staff. So Margaret and her siblings were constantly shuttered from place to place, and there was not a lot of attention and love from the parental units. And that's when Mary the governess started talking about equality, when Margaret started really soaking up what Mary had to say. Usually governesses taught young women how to needlepoint and read, but this governess kept talking about reading challenging things that the mother did not approve. Before long, the mom, Carolyn, realized that Mary, the governess, was radicalizing her daughter. Less than a year after she arrived, she was dismissed, and Margaret would never see her again. But that doesn't mean Margaret didn't make an impact on Mary. Margaret got married to the right guy. Margaret would later write, I married at age 19 a man who was completely not compatible with me. Okay, so Mary manages to have 6 healthy children, which is quite a feat in the 1800s. But she was sick of her husband, so she separated from him. And then she decided she wanted to pursue studying medicine. So she had to dress up as a man in order to go to school. So she moved to Germany to study medicine, and she hid herself as a man. I love that. Margaret is attributed to being one of the first pediatricians. She really focused on attending to children, and she wrote a book about raising children and the medical opinions. Mary wrote many other books, and then in a whole full circle moment, she ended up mentoring and nurturing Margaret's daughter, who was Mary Shelley, who wrote the epic book Frankenstein. So kudos to all three of those women who stood up and were true to themselves and fought the system and did things because they had to as badass women. We salute you on Women's History Month in March.